we've been talking a little bit about Alex. Maybe you can talk about Alex, who he is, and how did you get to meet him, find out, discover him, and how did it all come about?
It's been such a life-changing time for us in a way that we never expected. You know, when we connected with Heart for Kids, it really was to go and serve. You know, our adoption has always been very much on our hearts as a family. But when we went on our first trip to Dove's Wings with Heart for Kids, you know, that certainly wasn't part of our agenda. You know, our agenda was to go and serve there. My husband jokes about, you know, oh my goodness, when I fetch you both from the airport, I'm going to have to drive a bus to collect you because I think you'll bring all the children home with you, you know. And I kind of went, you know, just praying, God, help me to cope with what I see, because I know that it's going to be really heart-wrenching. And I know that it's going to be hard to leave those children there, just, you know, because of my heart. You know, I love working with children, and I want to see them achieve everything that they can. And so I went kind of asking God to protect my heart, and help me to leave there, help me to leave all the children behind. So that was my prayer. And and then we went, you know, for the first time in 2017, and just loved being with the children. It was just such a privilege to be alongside the Ayis in a different country and being able to serve them and the children, and just see how just us being there was made such an impact for all of them. But while we were there, you know, I would go back to the hotel room at the end of the day, and it really was tiring. I mean, it's amazing how just, you know, being in a different culture, hearing different language all day, it's quite exhausting for your brain. And we were jet lagged and, you know, dealing with that. And so we would go back to our hotel room at the end of the day and, you know, be really exhausted. But I was just aware of this growing thing, you know, a growing love in me for all the children, but in particularly for Alex, who, you know, then his name was Walter or Wu Meng. And, you know, I'd come back to the hotel room and I was like, no, you know, I can't let this be. Like, this is not okay. Like, you know, I'm just here to serve the children. This growing sense of affection towards Walter needs to stop, you know. And one evening, my daughter, Arianne, we were just sitting chatting in the hotel room, and she said to me, Mum, I know that we can't take any of these children home, but if there was any of them that you could take home, who would it be? And I just said to her, I said, Arianne, just like, we just can't even talk like this. You know, we're here to serve the children. Like, we just can't even open this door, you know. And she said, I know, but if there was one child that we could take home, who would it be? And so I just said to her, I said, you know, I love all of these children that we're serving, but there's something about Walter, about Wu Ming, that has just captured my heart. And she said, me too. He's really captured my heart. And so we kind of were like, you know, aware that was kind of there, but we kept on just closing the door on it, you know, like this isn't, you know, this is crazy. He lives in another country, he's miles away from England, you know, this just isn't even a possibility. But every day when I went into the home, you know, the flat where Walter was, he would crawl into my lap and snuggle into my neck. And you know, all the children loved our attention. All of the children, you know, loved that tactile input. Most of them. There were a couple that were a bit scared of us, but most of them really craved that tactile input. But it was different. There was something different with Walter that that I was fighting and that I was trying to close my heart on. And the day we left that year, in 2017, our last time of visiting that home was really heart-wrenching for me. I left, I walked out of the flat, okay, and Wendy and John were with me, and when I walked out, I just burst into tears, and I just said, has it ever been possible that someone that volunteers here could somehow take one of these children to be in their forever family? And they said, yes, it has happened, and they said to me, why? And I said, there's just one child here that's really captured my heart, but it just feels impossible. And they asked me, which child has captured your heart? And I told them, and they said, one of our eyes came to me the other day and said, this boy has chosen this woman to be her mum.
Oh,
to be
wow.
His mum. And, that was just, and I was still just thinking, no, I need to keep this door closed because this is just impossible, And anyway, so we came back to the UK. I came home and I said to my husband, now my husband's a really slow burner. He's, all decisions are like, he takes him a long time to get his head round, and, he's always the one that kind of keeps the brakes on. And I came home and I just said to him, I know that this is crazy, but I think that one of those children is meant to be our son.
Oh.
And sorry, it's really emotional to talk about. And I said, I really feel that somehow Walter is supposed to be part of our family. And he just immediately said, well, then we're going to push the doors. And if the doors open, it's meant to be. And so, we started on our journey. We were, connecting with David and just shared our heart with him. But it was impossible in terms of, it wasn't in Dove's Wings' hands as to who Walter would go to. Those are decisions that are made by the Chinese authorities. But we just started, pushing on doors and investigating whether that would be possible. And, found an agency here in the UK that we had to partner with to be able to start that process. And they were even saying to us, this is impossible. This is going to cost you a lot of money, and it's near impossible that you would get the child that you have identified. It has happened once before, but it's, we just need to set your expectations that this will be impossible. And but we were just, trusting that actually if it was meant to be, we were very much part of a local church, and we were praying that this would be, and anyway, fast forward, we planned to go back again as a team, again with David. We went back again in 2018 to serve in Dove's Wings again for another 2 weeks. And that time was really hard because I knew then that the doors were opening for us to bring Alex home, but it wasn't yet possible. The time, it takes forever. But there was agreement with the Chinese authorities that they would keep Alex for us. But we were still going through all the red tape from England.
Yeah.
It was a very long process. But that time when we visited Dove's Wings, we knew that Walter or Alex would be our son.